So that's my biggest hang up too is obviously Jimbo Fisher, and the part that kind of infuriates me is because I'm with you. Here we got to see Weigman come out, look fantastic. Think about all those wasted reps during the offseason. You got three of these guys, and we're just now finding out that this is quarterback one. It took this many games, this many practices. I know he's a freshman and maybe he did some growing up and he had a little trouble with the playbook or something. But one of the things they mentioned, and the thing is during this game, he's like, I talked to Jimbo about freshmen picking up the playbook. Did you hear that? Did you grab that? It's the craziest thing I ever heard of. He's like, half the teams in the SEC are doing it. He goes, for starters, they're not, okay? And then second, he's like, and I've been doing the same offense for 30 years. We know, and it ain't working anymore, So it drove me nuts. And I just, again, I did think about all those wasted, valuable reps in the off seasons to Big Bad Brad's boy, when it could have went to him, and who knows, maybe we would have, lost to Alabama, and that would have been the only. I mean, there's a real shot if you break it down, if they had some resemblance of an offense, so that it's not just the A-Chain show. Yeah. Texas A&M could have won a lot more ball games this year, but they're not, and still, it's almost like it feels like it's too late. But we're selling the future with all these freshmen, but there's a part of me deep down inside, Mike, thinks that we're going to have a fire sale at the end of this season, and that transfer portal is going to open wide open.
Now, let me ask you this, though, Shane. If Conner Weigman continues to play at this level and, hopefully for A&M's sake, they win a couple of these ball games, hell, they're going to have to make a bowl game. But, let's say they get some momentum on that side of the ball. Could that end up being a detriment to the program? Now, hear me out, because hell, up until Saturday, we're saying, my God, Jimbo has got to get a play caller in there. He has got to get an offensive coordinator that'll give some influence. Now, all of a sudden, now that he's got a quarterback, maybe they do start scoring 28 points a game, and Jimbo saying, well, hell, it ain't the system, it ain't the play caller, it's just been the quarterback, and then we get the same old shit next season. I mean, this we call it a silver lining. It could be a disaster if we're gonna not change things up this offseason.
Oh, that's a very good point. I don't know how quite to answer that, because you may be right, but 28 points could be 45 points if in a different system. And that's my argument. And I think that this conversation has clearly been made. That SEC podcast isn't the only one watching this football game. I would imagine some mentors up there or some leadership in that front office is saying, hey man, you're safe. We're not firing you. I'm imagining this conversation's happened, but we're going to need something different. We're going to need a promise to the future, and maybe that's why we got the quarterback change here. Maybe this was, I'm not saying that. Nobody copied me on an email here, but I would imagine that there is this kind of youth movement. They cleaned house a little bit last week with some of the dumb shenanigans that was going on in the locker room. But I think this is just a step in the right direction. But it's a wagon you're hitched to, brother, and you're stuck with Jimbo and his ways. Especially if they win out, man. If Texas A&M wins out, I think you're correct. I think nothing changes on that side of the ball.